Well, hello and welcome to the Best Football Show. I'm Brian Baldinger. It is Tuesday, November 11th. It's Veterans Day. Shout out to all the veterans, everybody that has served. Honestly, we probably aren't doing the show without your assistance and without your loyalty. So I appreciate everybody out there. I'm the son of a Marine myself. Been around the military for the good part of the first third of my life. Very appreciative. Let's get to it. This is the Best Football Show. It's Tuesday. And so let's have Tuesday's takeaways here. But before we get started, you can find this on your free Odyssey app. You can download that and you can subscribe, follow us on the Best Football Show. You can follow me throughout all the social media platforms. Posted a bunch of stuff from last night's game here today. A bunch of stuff kind of resonating with a lot of the viewers out there. But we have it's not breaking news. Yesterday, the Giants fired Brian Daboll, second coach fired this year. Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, play caller, will take over. Couple things. Just going back, we've seen them blow lead after lead this year. Dallas, Denver, 20-10, in Chicago up, in control of the game. Under 6 minutes to go, calling quarterback runs one after another after your quarterback has been concussed, dinged, sent to the blue tent on 2nd and 6, with, 6 minutes to go, he's running a quarterback, lead, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson strips him and he gets blasted. And he's basically, you can tell he's hurt. Now he goes back onto the field to start the next series. And then they take him out after a couple of plays. It looks bad because the kid can play. The kid, and I'm calling Jackson Dart the kid, but I mean, Jackson, to me, in the right team with the right coach and the right personnel around him, I think he could be what we're watching from Drake Maye. Like, the guy is fearless. That being said, there's a couple things to me that have to be addressed about Brian Daboll. And nobody wants to see anybody fired. And I like Brian Daboll personally. I like him. I think he's a good football mind. Not everybody is a head coach. We've discovered that. He's had great success being a coordinator. But he fired, I don't know if fire is the right word. They had a meeting with Wink Martindale, who I think is a great defensive coordinator. Maybe he blitzes too much, perhaps, but he affects the other team to quarterback. Won a national championship at Michigan. Right now, Brian Daboll is 5-22 without Wink Martindale. They went to the playoffs with Wink. He's 5-22. And so, and the problem with not just that is you just are not seeing player development. Tyrone Tracy hasn't gotten any better this year. Now, he's not playing as much, but he's not getting better. I don't know that Daniel Baldinger is getting better. I'm just pulling names out of that. Deontay Banks definitely isn't getting better. Brian Okereke looks like he's regressed. Dexter Lawrence looks like he's regressed. He didn't have a tackle the other day. Now, he did have a sack that got called back because of defensive penalty. And they're blowing these leads badly. Like, we can all look at that throw on 3rd and 5 against Denver when you didn't need to be throwing it. It leads to an interception. I mean, just decision-making, player development. So Mike Kafka takes over. Mike Kafka was drafted by Andy Reid as a Philadelphia Eagle. He coached with Andy Reid. I think he's learned, I think Andy wanted him to be a coach more than a player. He bounced around the league as a player. Andy had him. He went with Daboll to the New York Giants. He's taken over. I think Mike can learn things from Andy Reid about how to lead, how to prepare, how to get a team ready to play. Andy's as good as anybody that's done this business. So maybe he can lean on things that he's learned from Andy. Anybody that learns under Andy, they take prodigious notes. They keep a notebook, short weeks, all these different things that Andy has incorporated, that he brought with him from Green Bay, that he continues to upgrade. And all the other coaches that have come out of that tree. Sometimes it's a different voice. They certainly have their share of games coming up that Like you'd like to see him compete. We haven't seen Abdul Carter do a whole lot, although, like Brian Burns has been amazing, but you'd like to see some of these young guys really come in. You'd like to see Jackson Dart get back and stay healthy the remainder of the season. Protect him. Don't put Daniel Bellinger one-on-one with Montez Sweat. Like, it's not smart. Like, he got his head taken off in the middle of Soldier Field with that. But as a guy that has played for a coach that got fired, Ron Meyer, when I was in Indianapolis, was fired. Rick Venturi took over. He was the defensive coordinator. We still ended up 1-15. Did it make a difference that we heard a different voice in front of the room? A little bit. It does. Different way of doing things, hearing different things, all that. It can make a difference. We've seen a little spark when it's happened before, but it does give the Giants, presumably Joe Shane will still be here. We'll find out. But maybe a head coach, maybe a head start in the coaching carousel in trying to find the next guy. They've just gone through Shermer. They've gone through Joe Judge. They've gone through all these coaches that were 2-year coaches, and they blew them out, and they didn't want to do that with Daboll. So they gave him a third year, even though they were terrible last year and collapsed. They didn't want to do it. John Mara and the staff, they did not want to fire Daboll after 2 years, although it seemed like it was warranted. And so they gave him a third year. He didn't make it to the end. The Giants have to get this next coaching thing right. You look at the division right now. The New England Patriots, like I just saw the New England Patriots on Sunday and what Vrabel is doing and Josh McDaniels doing, how this team has been reconstituted. 30 new players, new coach, new GM, new play calling, new coordinator. And here's Drake Maye leading the league in quarterback ratings and winning 7 in a row. And they got it right. That's what they have to do. All right, let's get to some takeaways here. Let's get to Drake Maye. I got to see Drake Maye live for the first time. And sometimes seeing guys live makes a difference versus watching him on tape or watching him on TV or whatever. I've known Drake since a quarterback collective camp in Indianapolis 5 or 6 years ago. Caleb Williams was there. Neusmeyer was there. I think Jaden Daniels was there. Drake Maye was there. In fact, I talked to Drake about it on Sunday down the field before the game. I remember taking him into the film room and putting him through, okay, how do you attack cover 2? What's your read on cover 3? Like he was a sharp kid, very sharp kid. But watching him make that throw, and I'm sure you all saw the highlights, like it's 4th and 1 at the 1 with 3 seconds to go in the half. They're down 10-7. And he makes that throw to Diggs. Now, Diggs makes a great catch, toe tap, but he gave him a chance. The deep shot to really put the game on ice to Mac Hollins was amazing. They played without their best deep ball receiver in Kayshon Boutte, but they got the ball. Mac Hollins took over. Like, the guy has incredible accuracy. He came in, completing 75% of his passes, and he was at the top of the leaderboard with yards per attempt. The guy's a leader, and man, he can run an offense. Now, it helped that Travion Henderson had the 2, explosive touchdown runs, 2 longest runs of the year for the Patriots, 2 longest runs that the Bucs had given up all year. They got explosive plays. They've gone to Buffalo and won. They've gone to Tampa and run. Like, they're in the driver's seat right now in the AFC East. Congratulations. Let's go to I watched the Bears comeback win against the Giants. They've won 5 out of the last 6 games. They're 6-3, and they're in the playoff picture. And it's really like to watch Caleb this year and Caleb last year, having a really good coordinator, a much improved offensive line, better help around him. The rookie tight end, Monangai, the rookie back, Luther Burden, like second year with the Dunze and DJ Moore. Like, all of a sudden, the routine plays look routine, and there's a lot of them where he's hitting his back step and the ball's coming out. But when he does have to move, like he had Brian Bird's strength all over him for his 12th sack. Shook him off, on 3rd and 4, shook Brian Burns off and ran for 5 yards and first down. He had Kayvon Thibodeau draped all over him, shook him off, and then scrambled. He ran, on really a dual threat bootleg to his left, 17 yards for a huge touchdown in the game to make it 2017. The guy makes splash plays. He is strong. He is a strong runner, and he's a good thrower on the run. He hit Zacchaeus in the end zone off a scramble. It went through Zacchaeus' hands. Look, there's snow flurries out there. It's cold. It's windy. I saw him drop 4 balls. Like, his completion percentage should be higher. But Caleb has this team in contention at 6-3. A lot of football to be played. A lot of division games to be played. But he is improving, and that's what you want to see. First-year coordinator, play caller, rebuilt offensive line. Like, he's still not the top of the leaderboard when you're going to pick a quarterback, but the talent is starting to come through. Let's get to the Rams. The Rams are an amazing team. They're just well coached, and they took the 49ers apart. They scored the first 3 drives, and they scored as easy as it was for Grant to go through Richmond. Like, it was just a knife through butter. Like, 3 drives, 3 touchdowns, 21-0 in the first less than 17 minutes of the game. And then you go back and you really study it. Yes, Devontae Adams caught his 9th touchdown pass. He beat a safety one-on-one, okay? It was routine. Nakua catches, a little bubble screen. He's in the end zone. All that happened. But they use 4 tight ends. It's a 4 tight end offense. There's Higbee, the starter. There's Colby Parkinson they picked up from Seattle free agency. There's Davis Allen, who is your F-back. He's everything. He's a fullback. He's a tight end. He's a lead back. And he caught a touchdown pass. There's the rookie Ferguson, who caught a big pass. There was a touchdown by Allen. I think it's Allen, where they literally had a bunch formation with 3 tight ends. Like, you don't see these things. Like, Davis Allen, is leading up on inside linebackers of D. Winters, and the inside linebackers of the 49ers, and being the lead back for Blake Corum and for Kyron Williams. Like, the use of 4 tight ends is unique, and it's classic Sean McVay. Like, nobody else is doing this. Nobody. 3 tight ends, 13 personnel is popular around the league. Nobody's using 4. And in matchups, score touchdowns, it was impressive. Let's talk a little bit about the game last night. To see Jalen Phillips start, I mean, he was the best defensive player on the field. Recovered a fumble, forced a sack, forced another sack. Like, his pass rush ability to collapse a pocket, to win one-on-ones is excellent. To have Nolan Smith healthy on the other side, to put Jalix Hunt now in a reserve role where he's better, here comes Jalen Phillips, and he collapsed the pocket, and Jordan Love is trying to get out, and there's Jalix Hunt taking him for, a considerable loss, like 9 or 10 yards. The Eagles made other changes. They started Nakobe Dean at inside linebacker opposite of Zach Bond. And Jahad Campbell still played a lot, but he played a different he still played off the ball inside. He played outside. What it's done is the addition of Jalen Phillips, the health of Nakobe Dean, the return of Nolan Smith. It has created new packages for the Eagles. It could be packages to stop the run. It could be to apply more pressure, to blitz less. I feel like Vic Fangio right now is smiling. He's got everything it takes right now to be a top-level defense. I'm going to just remind you that when we get into the playoff stretch and we get to the playoffs, defense is still going to win these games. And so we saw it last night. The Packers at home scored 1 touchdown. And Jalen Phillips played 47 plays, I believe, last night. He looked fantastic. Really good. In fact, he looked as good last night as I've seen him in years, watching him down in Miami. Feels like he's played for Vic in Miami. He knows the defense. He was outstanding. The other team that was outstanding is the team that the Rams are competing with, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. They're 7-2. They've won 4 games in a row, and they took the Arizona Cardinals apart. Like literally, they scored 3 touchdowns and defensively scored 2 touchdowns. They scored 5 touchdowns in the first quarter and a half to go up 35-0. We haven't seen anything like that. Trice Knight, the second-year inside linebacker, literally forced 2 fumbles from Jacoby Brissett and Tank Lawrence, almost identical. Picked the ball up off one hop and scored a touchdown. And in 4 possessions, it was 28-0. But what we've seen is also the addition of Rashid Shaheed. They had a package for him already. They already had a package. Clint Kubiak already had him on the field. Remember this now. Clint Kubiak had Rashid Shaheed in New Orleans last year. So he knows his speed. He knows his playmaking ability. He knows how to use them. So here he is on a fly sweep. Here he is on a hit screen. Here he is running the dig on a post dig on the touchdown to Jackson Smith and Jigma, the opening touchdown of the game. And there's the safety in the middle of the field, Buda Baker, driving on Rashid Shaheed. And it left one-on-one with Jackson Smith and Jigba, and there's nobody he can't beat one-on-one. And to Sam Darnold's credit, he laid it out there perfectly. They are a well-built team. Seattle and the Rams will compete for the division. I don't want to leave the 49ers out, but to see the losses that they've suffered defensively, I feel like it's catching up to them. Where Seattle is healthy, the Rams are healthy, and we don't know, who's going to be healthy, the last 8 games of the season or 7 games of the season, whatever. But the stars haven't gone down. There's on both teams. And so I feel like it's Seattle and the Rams competing right now for the NFC West supremacy. And that's what I see right now on Tuesday's takeaways here. I still have 4 or 5 games to get to, so I'm not complete yet in what I have evaluated. Had some travel issues this past weekend, like a lot of people. So anyways, it kind of curtailed some time in the film room. But that's what I take away with right here on this Tuesday's takeaways. Look forward to Wisdom Wednesday tomorrow when I join you again. Thanks for joining me, everybody, on the Best Football Show.